Good morning, my Teaserking family. Welcome to today's baseball picks and a little thoughts on gold and silver. Went to the coin store yesterday, bought some more gold. Just wanted to touch base on that. So let's look at yesterday's picks. At Pitt under 7.5, a winner. St. Louis over 8.5, a loser. The Yankees under 8.5, a winner. Philly over 8, a loser. Tampa Bay under 8, a winner. Atlanta, winner. My lock, the Vikings under 7.5, a winner. Houston, a loser. Baltimore, a winner. Oakland over, a winner. Texas, a winner. Kansas City under, a winner. The Dodgers over 8, a loser. And the METS, Mets, a winner. Let's just go over today's picks, and we can get into anything else. I'll elaborate more on it, but here's the picks. So I like the Yankees under 7.5. My first lock is San Francisco. And I like Pittsburgh, Minnesota under 8.5, Milwaukee, Oakland over 7.5, St. Louis over 9, Toronto, Tampa Bay under 7.5, Atlanta over 8, the Mets under 9, LA, Baltimore under 8.5, and Seattle. And the second lock will be again the Vikings under 8.5. So 2 locks. Locks have been good. Let's get into a little on the teams. Sorry for chewing. All right. So when I look at teams, I'm trying to break it into football. So offense, defense, and team. Offense, obviously batting. Defense, obviously pitching, and then the team. So if we go down and we look at the A teams, Frisco, San Diego, the Dodgers, St. Louis, the Mets, Cleveland. That's it for now, but it'll change as they go on the road, as they come home, as they play different teams. It's going to change. My Z's teams are Atlanta, Boston, the Cubbies, California, Colorado, at home, Bay, Miami, and Kansas City, Minnesota, Seattle, Houston, and the Yankees. So why did I lock the Vikings and the Bears yesterday? When we look at it, the White Sox I have as an under team, which means they don't score a lot and they don't give up a lot. And Minnesota, who's also an under. So it made sense. Under 7.5 was the lock. And the score was 2-1. It was like 1-0 in the 8th. And then the Vikings got a safety and they won 2-1. So that's what you're looking at. Now, this is very early in the season and these numbers will change, but this is the identity now. We bet small. So now I'm going to start betting. I know I've had a few questions about the picks. I don't know what to charge, so it's very cheap. It's like normally it's like $25 a day, which is what 7 days is $225 for the week if you bought the days. So I said, just give me $50 for the week. Let's get our feet wet. Let's try to win. And our real focus is buying gold and silver. It's funny, like my biggest thought of working is to buy gold and silver. I mean, it's like, okay, I need cash flow coming in, and that's why I do that. So that's my thought. So in these, again, we're looking at, I'm going to try to get the stats tomorrow, but right now, like the pitching, I got like San Francisco, San Diego, the Dodgers, St. Louis, Pittsburgh, the Mets, Seattle, and the Yankees as A's. Like they're good pitchers, low ERAs. And then I see batting like right now, Cincinnati, Arizona, Milwaukee, Kansas City, Oakland, and St. Louis. I'm like, well, they don't have any hitting. Now, here's where it gets confusing. you have a bunch of guys. You look at a box score, and it shows the average for the guy, and the guys are like, I'd say 6 of them out of the 9 are in the 100s. That is embarrassing. These are major league hitters, and they can't hit 200. No wonder it's such a bad sport to watch right now. Then there's a few teams, I think the Cubs and maybe the Yankees, where they actually have like 5 hitters hitting over 250. So what I'm going to do is the hitters 250 and over, and count. Oh man, if you got 5, you're a good offensive team. Plus, I'm looking at runs, so that's how I'm ranking. Like when I ranked Frisco as an A, they scored a lot of runs and didn't give up a lot. So it's sort of like my football, where you're scoring 30 a game and giving up 17. You're an 18, right? Because you got a good offense and a good defense, and that's really what I'm looking for to bet. And again, these teams were home, so now let's have them go on the road for a few weeks. Then I can get a little bit. Then I get probably one of my customers going to give me a game. So just lost my train of thought. So you have, as you get more games in, then it's less. Now I've run into a new pitcher, first time pitching. Well, I don't know what's you going to do. Is he got a good ERA or bad ERA? That brings you back to like a new quarterback, right? Especially college. Here's a new quarterback. You watch him the first 3 or 4 games to get a flavor, because he could have a good game and then a bad game, or vice versa, and you might make a rash opinion that is not valid. After 3 or 4 games and playing good defensive teams, then you get a better feel. So if the guy does well against a good defensive team, then okay, now he's a good quarterback. And if he does bad against a weak team and then he plays the good team and he gets killed, then you go, okay, he's Trevor Lawrence. That's where I'm getting the Trevor Lawrence stuff, is from watching him against good teams and he stinks. So that's kind of how I get my analysis. In this case, so we got to watch. I had Verlander yesterday, and somehow Houston lost. Now, usually when that happens, what I do is, if you beat the ace, and Verlander is the ace, must be something in the computer that makes me sneeze, because I haven't sneezed all day. Must be something in the silver or something in the components that makes me sneeze. But technically, now I played baseball, and I know when there's a good pitcher, you go, shit, we're not going to hit this guy. And then when they take him out, you're all happy. You're going, shit, we can hit anybody else, because it'd be a piece of cake. So when you beat Verlander, I think Toronto beat him yesterday. I would look for, let's see if I got it. I just say Houston loser, and I don't see that. So when you beat, let's see who it was. When you beat Verlander, I think you're going to win the rest of the games. To who beat Verlander? Houston. Okay, Toronto. Toronto beats them 4-3. And I would think that if you beat Verlander, you're going to, so who do they got today? So these ads that come up really slow down the computer, or if it's a bad internet. They're loading. They can't wait to load the ads, which takes 5 minutes. All these ads are ridiculous. They're just inundating us with ads. All right, so let's see today. Okay, so who's Houston, Toronto? So, okay, so Toronto has Alex Monahu, 2-0 with a 1.5 ERA against Jose Urquidy, 1-1 with a 7.0. This should be a freaking lock. Toronto Do I have Toronto lock? I like San Francisco, Minnesota. I am playing Toronto. That to me should be a lock game. You have this now superficially. You have this pitcher 2-0 with a 1.5 ERA going against a 1-1 with a 7 ERA. Toronto just beat Verlander. Now, when I look at the teams, keep in mind this is as of a few days ago. I'll recap it tomorrow. I got Toronto as an over, and they scored a lot on Verlander, and I got Houston as an under. So Houston won't hit the 150 guy. Toronto will hit the 7-0 guy. Here's a perfect example. Toronto beats Verlander, and now they got a good pitcher who's got a 1.5 ERA going against a bad pitcher with a 7.0 ERA. Now, granted, it's early, but each of them have pitched in at least 2 games because the record's 2-0 and 1-1. So you got some innings. And you got some indication that this Toronto pitcher with a 1.5 ERA is probably pretty good. And the guy who gave up 7 runs, maybe he's good, but he still gave up 7 runs. And in retrospect, Verlander's ERA was like a 1 yesterday. I don't even think it was 1. So here's the problem. What you run into is then you get the bullpen. So you get 5 innings, 6 innings with the starter. I'm seeing a lot of 5 innings and then the bullpen. And then, okay, do they have enough good pitchers in the bullpen? Then I'm noticing that they'll be scoring earlier in the game. I think it was one of my losers yesterday was an over. No, it was an under. No, I bet it over. The Philadelphia game, I think, where they had like 5 or 6 runs early. Maybe it was another game. But they had a lot of scoring early, and then they didn't score. It might have even been the Kansas City game where I had it under 7.5 and it won, but it was like 5, 6 runs early. And then, it was also the Pitt game, right? I had Pitt under 7.5 and it's sitting at 6 early, and then they don't score. So I'm trying to understand that. Like, you have to understand it's a 5-inning game and 4 innings are relievers. And do they pitch the same relievers every game? Do they have 8, 9 good relievers? Or is it, okay, you only have to pitch 1 inning, just give it all, shut them out. That's it. That's all you need. And we bring them the next guy. So now can 10 mediocre pitchers pitch 1 inning and get the guys out is the question. And that's what we'll discover ourselves. So this is called adjusting. So we're basic. What's going on? My mouse has decided to, I might need a new battery for my mouse. I've totally lost my mouse. Come on. Jesus, I love when you hit the mouse and nothing happens. Okay. All right. So the mouse seems to be okay. So sometimes it just as ads are loading and the mouse loses communication or whatever. So that's what happens. We need to evolve. We need to be smart enough. This is why you come to me and you ask my opinion, especially in football. As things change, you have to change your picking and your variables, what's important, what isn't. So in baseball, it used to be Koufax would go 9 innings and Gibson would go 9 innings. And then it got into the 80s and 90s and they'd still go 7, 8 innings. And now it's 5 innings. All of a sudden, they can't pitch. I mean, they can only pitch 100 pitches every 5 days. We're saving them for what? And then with all the free agency, they just go to another team anyway, like a Verlander and a Scherzer and Price and all those guys. They just move on to the next team. So what are you saving them for? I don't understand that you can pitch a guy 130 pitches if he's not going for 5 more days. The guy's certainly not getting hurt. He's a pitcher. He certainly, if he got hurt, he wouldn't be a pitcher, right? So I don't understand it at all. It makes no sense, this 5 inning crap, and then I got to go out and buy and get 15 relievers because I'm going to pitch 4, 5, 6 relievers. What if the guy only goes 2 innings, or what if the reliever doesn't get the job done? I got to bring in another reliever, and I can't pitch him 2 innings. Oh my God, I can't pitch a reliever 2 innings. So then you have all these variables, and then I get worst hitting. Right now, my hitting sucks because I only got 2 or 3 on the bench. I can't bring in the lefty late in the game or a good hitter. I don't even have good hitters. The average team has maybe 3 hitters over 250, and they got at least 4 hitters in the lineup who don't hit 200. They're hitting in 110, 140. What is that? Then I'm seeing the guy get a couple RBIs and he's hitting 150. I'm like, how the hell could you pitch to that guy at 150? Now I know people go, well, it's new, it's early in the year, the guy's in a slump. Yeah, it's bullshit. Willie Mays doesn't hit 150 because it's early in the year, or Clemente or Kaline or any of the good hitters that we know, Derek Jeter, Rodriguez, they don't do that. They hit, and they hit, and they always hit. So I don't know. I'm just saying, I noticed it last year too. These guys cannot freaking hit. And they're all up there for a walk. I was looking at one box score, and they had 7 walks yesterday. It's like, what the hell? So they're just trying to use pitch count and run down the pitchers. Like, this is the strategy. This is how stupid is that Moneyball bullshit that does not work. That the concept of not getting guys with averages or who can get RBIs and get hits and get home runs, and we're going to hit the ball. And the concept of let's go for a walk and tire out the pitcher is the stupidest thing I've ever seen, because nobody has won with this strategy. Boston won because their players hit the ball. At the end of the day, the team with the best talent generally wins every sport. Tom Brady, Montana, Rice, these guys won because they're the best. That's why the Lions never win, because they don't have any talent. They're not smart enough to get talent, and that's why they never win, because Aaron Rodgers will eventually beat you because he's the superstar. And it works in every sport: baseball, hockey, basketball. You don't have talent, you don't win. Now you can play this stupid game of let's have the pitcher throw 1,000 pitches and tire him out, but you're not going to win because they're not going to walk you all the few walks. You're going to get a lot of strikeouts because your hitters don't know how to hit. And at the end of the day, you got to run around third and 2 outs, and your guy's up there looking for a walk, and he ain't going to get a walk, and he's going to have to hit, but he can hit. He's a 130 hitter. At the end of the day, he leaves runners on, which is why I think I'm seeing you'll score 5, 6 runs early, and then up comes the, late in the game, I'm not seeing anybody like the Pitt game yesterday is 4-2. I got Pitt under 7.5. I'm worried. They're going to get a 3-run homer, And that's it, 4-2, 7th inning, 8th inning, 9th inning. Nobody, the team with the 2 couldn't score. I did see the Met game. I had the Mets, and I think it got tied up. And I think there was one other game. I think the Houston game, Toronto tied it up probably when they took Verlander out. And then that's the problem. Verlander should have pitched the whole game. This is where I fail to understand the manager not understanding psychology. You got your ace on the mound like a Verlander. He plays the whole game. He doesn't need the rest, and you tell him that you're going the whole game. And I don't want to hear if you're getting tired. It's too bad. You're going to play, and that's it. Maybe I have my one ace in the bullpen for the 9th inning. Maybe if he's tired, because I know psychologically, because I played you, and that's just where I would pitch that guy the full game or at least 8 innings, unless I had a big lead. And they end up losing the game, wasting Verlander's performance because they didn't do it right. So anyway, just recapping today's games. Yankees under 7.5. The lock is Frisco and Minnesota. Frisco, lock Minnesota under 8.5. Pittsburgh, Milwaukee, Oakland over 7.5. St. Louis over 9. Toronto, Tampa Bay under 7.5. Atlanta over 8. The Mets under 9. The Dodgers, Baltimore under 8.5, and Seattle. I'm avoiding the Tiger game because I have no idea. The pitchers, I have no idea what's going on. Cabrera is going for his 3,000th hit, so that's going to cause a bunch of problems. Will the game go over because the Detroit's trying to get runners on to get Cabrera more at bats? The one thing I'm laughing at is the Tiger managers should be leading off Cabrera, not batting him whatever, fourth or fifth. And when the guy sucked the last 5 years and he couldn't hit 200, I wondered why. I thought he should have been batting ninth if he's even in the game. He stunk. And now they're making a big deal because it's the 3,000th hit. And it's only taken him, 25 years. And he hasn't done anything the last 5. But now he's got, 3,000 hits. Like, he got 500 home runs. Like, yeah, how many the last 5 years? What, 25, 30? And then 3,000 hits. How many the last 5 years? Maybe 100? I mean, this guy stinks. He hit the Triple Crown, and then that was it. And he didn't try. He didn't care. He took his money, and that was it. It was pitiful. I'm not a Cabrera fan. I'm a K-Line fan. I'm a Mantle fan. Clemente, the real superstars. This guy's not in that league. He's not a superstar. I don't even think he's learned English. It's terrible. Okay, so that's that. Let me know if you have any questions or comments on that. Let's talk gold. Went to the gold store. So, first of all, gold goes down on COMEX. And as we talked COMEX. COMEX is not real. With the Russians doing what they're doing, they will keep the fake COMEX paper gold price, and they're going to wipe it out because they're going to want physical. So they're going to buy it from COMEX at 1940, and they're going to say, I want the gold. COMEX is a pyramid scheme. There is no gold. They're just selling contracts without the actual gold. People who are buying IRA and buying gold IRAs, for example, it's a scam. They're not real. You're not getting physical gold. You're getting paper gold, which has no value. The only gold you have is real gold. If you have a real ounce of gold, you have gold. If you have paper, guess what? So does another 1,000 people all have the same ounce as you. You're screwed. You'll never get it. So you've got to understand that. Anything to do with COMEX, I think it's GLD or whatever it is. I don't know. I don't deal with it. But if you are putting your money in an IRA and you're getting gold, but you can't take delivery of it, you're going to get ripped off. Okay. It's a scheme. It is not real. Okay. Do not think that gold in an IRA is actually gold. The only gold in your IRA should be Newmont Mining, Wheaton Precious Metals, AEM. That's the only gold that I have in my IRA, and they're stocks. And I am not under the impression that they are gold coins. I go to the coin store to buy my gold coins. So I bought an ounce yesterday. It was 1935, and I'm sitting there with my phone, and I'm looking at gold. So I'm like this. And at the moment, it's like 3:30 Eastern time, and I am at the moment with my gold price, and I'm going, so I'm on gold price, and I said, this is the price I want. I want 1928 or 1931. And that's what he gave it to me at. I think it was 1935 at the time. That's what he gave it to me at. He said, it ended up being $2,009 or 2004. There was like a $70 spot, and I got the Cougar. The Eagle's another $40. Then I bought a quarter ounce Eagle, and that was $550. The whole thing cost me $25.89 for a gold ounce and a gold quarter. And I was happy as hell that this guy still has, now he doesn't have a lot of inventory, but he had 8 or 9 gold ounces. He had 4 or 5 gold quarters, and he didn't have any maple leafs left. He had this flower maple leaf that it's not money in the sense that says it's a 1 ounce silver, but it's bullion. And what bullion is like the bar. If you have a bar, you don't really have currency that's minted. Like when you buy a gold eagle, it says $50, or a maple leaf, or whatever you buy, it'll say it's a $50 coin. But nobody cares because it's an ounce of gold, and it's worth basically $2,100. You don't give a shit that it says $50 on it. But that's the real, what they mean when they say gold is money. That's what they're saying, is it's worth $50. But of course, the fact that, so if gold ever went down or came out in a new currency and it was worth $48, you basically have it worth $50. Now, I don't know what dollars it is, but if it ever got under, the worst it would be is $50, but obviously it's never going to go like that. So it's worth $2,100. But as I tell the guy, I'm only interested in an ounce of gold. That's why I buy Cougar Ants. It's cheaper. For the ounce of gold is costing me 2009 versus 2050 for the Eagle. Okay, so the premiums are up. The premiums on the silver, if you buy the Buffaloes, but I think they're getting out. He did have some stacks for me. I didn't buy any silver yesterday. I was buying gold. Gold being hammered down. I also told him to buy Newmont Mining. Newmont Mining was an $85 stock. It lost $6 2 days ago. It lost $3 yesterday. So it went from an 86 to a 73, 74. And I said, buy, because there's no reason that a gold stock should be down $9. And I said, when gold hits 20,000 an ounce, where do you think the stock's going to be? And that's kind of my point. It's too much correlated with the COMEX for some reason. See, everybody, the problem is keeps writing that COMEX is the amount, and it's not. COMEX is not the dollar amount. The dollar amount is the free market, and we don't know what that is. Anyway, went and bought 1.25 ounces yesterday. Highly recommend it at this price before it's going, but the spreads are moving up. The premiums are moving up higher and higher, and I don't understand why there's a premium. Why do you look at COMEX as your base? It's not real. Shouldn't be looking at it. So that's what I have. So for my friends in Canada, Ottawa, don't worry that the price went down. It's so the Chinese and the Russians can buy. It's all fixed. They're trying to keep the price low, but it ain't going to stay low for long. And I guess there's some margin calls coming this week. So look for it to be a little bit lower this week and then explode. And because they're slowly, with what the Russians are doing with the gold for the gas and the ruble, they're slowly going to buy up. They're going to buy the cheap COMEX and demand delivery, and then they won't be able to do it anymore. And then here we go. Very expensive gold and silver, and if you can find it. See, the thing is, once the panic hits, and you'll see it in a football game. So let's use that as an example. There's a line, at Tampa 7 over Detroit, and it goes to 8, and then panic sets in. We're teaser bettors. We want it under 3. I better hurry up and get my money in before the line goes to 9.5, and I'm laying 3.5 because I want to lay under 3. So that little bit of panic sets in, and I better get my bet in now. And I get my bet in at 8.5. I'm laying 2.5. Tampa wins by a field goal, and I go, oh, I'm so glad I got it under a field goal. At the moment that line jumps, what do? There's panic setting in. I got to get it in before the line goes, or vice versa. If the line's going down, it's at 9 and it's dropping. it's, oh, I'm going to wait till it goes to 7.5, and you get this push down, and you go, I'm going to wait. And then it goes down, then you lay under 3. But it's mostly the favorite going up, and you want to get it in under 3, or maybe it's a 12 and it's Alabama and they're going to go to 15, 16, or Ohio State. And you go, I'm going to get that line and I still have it under 7. It's the same thing with the gold and silver, because you want to get the line and you get that panic. Well, as gold starts hitting 2,200, 2,300, the panic's going to set in. And guess what? Everybody's going to run to the store and there isn't going to be any. And now you're going to be shitting going, shit, why didn't I buy it now? Professor told me to buy it now. I'm waiting for whatever reason. And I didn't buy it. And then once that panic sets in, the line's moving to 9. I got to get my teaser in under 3. Once that starts hitting in gold and silver, there's going to be a mass rush to make the bet to get the coin. I better get it before it hits 3,000. You're not going to be able to. All of a sudden, either the supply will be limited based on there isn't any, or the supply will be limited because the dealer doesn't want to sell it. He goes, oh, here we go. I'm not going to sell it. And that's why silver at 24 is being held down, because they still want to manufacture stuff cheap. Well, too bad. I mean, all the other, nickel and copper and uranium and all that's going through the roof because it's at market. Nobody's dictating it where they are with COMEX. So pretty soon COMEX will blow up. Silver's going to go. When silver goes through the roof, it's not going to be a $50. It's going to be $300, $400, $500 an ounce. You can buy it now, but even now it's getting harder. And if you look, the premium is there. You're paying $8, $9, $10 over. You're paying $35. From what I heard, the key point of silver is 26.22. They have a lot of cell components put in at 26. As soon as that goes down, as soon as it breaks that, it's really going to go. But it's not a $50 an ounce item anymore. Again, with the inflation, again, with this war. And from what I just saw today, they're going, well, when Russia's done with the Ukraine, they're just warming up. This is not Russia versus the Ukraine's over. This is Russia versus the Ukraine. Then we're going to go on. Who else? We're going to get Moldova. We're going to get Romania. We're going to get the coast. They're going to want to get, that's why they're after Mariupol, and that's why they've already got Crimea, is they want a warm, weather seaport. This was what World War I was about. And I will teach you that story another day, maybe later today or tomorrow. That's World War I, is the Russians wanted a warm weather seaport. The problem with Russia is they're in the Arctic. They're not in a easy to get to the Mediterranean and easy to get to the Atlantic or the Pacific. And that's the trade routes, because that's where all the population is. So if you want to get to Spain and Italy and England and the Americas and Argentina and Brazil, you gotta go on the Mediterranean, the Atlantic, and everything else. Not Antarctica and the cold. There's no population there. So Russia, being in the cold, doesn't have access to the warm weather seaports. That's what a lot of this is about. It's always about money, so it must be about natural gas, and it's about him getting out of the U.S. dollar into the Russian ruble backed by gold. And as we know, Russia owns 14,000 tons of gold at least, China with 23,000 tons at least, and the U.S. maybe 1,000 tons. Those with the gold make the rule, and guess who's got the gold, and guess who doesn't have the gold? So the U.S. dollar will go out. How fast? That's the point. But as Syria's got off the dollar, and China and Russia, all the big players are getting out of the dollar. And now everybody has to buy Russian oil with gold or rubles and not U.S. dollars. I mean, let's face it, it's going to happen. Once we're not the lead currency, nobody wants it. I can't sell a steak for $50 if the market says I'll buy it for 20. And if you go to your meat market and the guy's trying to sell you a New York strip for $30 a pound and nobody's buying it, yeah, there's one or two guys who apparently don't understand money and just say, oh, yeah, I want it. I'm going to buy it. I don't care. I'll use my credit card and I'll be in debt, but I don't care. There's always people that don't understand finance. However, most of the market, if they just say no, then you see a sale and he's selling it for 20 and he's selling it until the market says, yeah, $15 a pound, I'm going to buy the steak. And I had that discussion, as you all heard on my other video, with the guy at the barbecue restaurant saying, okay, your ribs are now $30 for the slab. You can't make it 50. Nobody will buy it. You have to figure out a way to sell it at the $25. That is what the market will bear. Everybody's costs are going up. Fuel, food, everything else, taxes, the inflation, your dollar's worth less. It takes more dollars to go buy the steak. It takes more dollars to go to the grocery store, to fill up with gas. That's inflation. That's a tax. So you have to understand that and be careful with it. What else? So I know I hammer that home a lot, but it's a very important safety issue is to buy your gold and silver. Anybody wanting my gold store, they will ship you. They have a good price. They seem to be able to have inventory. It is real. It's very real. They test it. I asked the guy, well, I hear about these counterfeit gold coins or silver. And he says, yeah, they drill holes in them. Da, 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 da. He says, don't worry. We test ours. We put the magnet. If the magnet holds, it's fake. Don't worry. And I trust the guy. I've done a lot of business with them. And believe me, I take the magnet out and I'm like, no, okay, it doesn't stick. But that's how you tell. And, even the gold jewelry, now this is old and this is 18 karat, 18 karat. Now it's 14 karat, which is less gold in it. So they're trying to push that on you. So be careful about that. But, anything gold like that's going to be fine. So I'll be recapping baseball with the new stats. And right now it's early in the year, so they will change. So I'm not expecting an A team like the Mets to all of a sudden be a Z team. But let's see how they are at home and on the road and against certain tough teams. Cincinnati's been on the West Coast. Let's see when they get home. They might not be a Z team anymore. Colorado at home scores a lot of runs. Let's see what they do with Detroit today. It's a doubleheader. It's a sunny day. I'm sure the game will not be rained out. And everybody with Cabrera with his 3,000th hit. So we'll see what goes on there. Anyway, so I've been doing very well with baseball. And again, the analysis has been the ERAs of the pitchers. And if I got too low ERAs, then I'm looking at the team. And that's why we locked the Vikings yesterday against the Bears. I love talking football anyway. So Minnesota is an under team, and the pitchers were good ERA pitchers. Over under was like 7.5, and the game was 2-1. First of all, neither team can hit, and then secondly, you had good pitchers. And it's pretty much the same today. You've got, again, neither team can hit, and the pitchers are a little bit worse, but not too bad. And then the key's the bullpen. So you really got to break down the bullpen, because what I'm noticing is you'll have a bad pitcher, and he'll pitch 2 innings and gives up 3 runs. And you're going, good, I bet the over. And then the bullpen comes in, and then he shuts them out, and they don't score the rest of the game. It's like, what the hell? There's a few games where they get, like, I think the Oakland over yesterday, there was some late scoring because I'm sweating out. Okay, I need 2 runs. Next thing I see, 4. They scored 4 and 5-1, and then it didn't materialize. But anyway, that's what you're looking at. So I apologize. It says my internet's not stable. They're connecting me. Anyway, so that's what you have is you have all that going. And so anyway, there's 2 things you got to understand is the bullpen. So you got 5 pitchers a game in the bullpen, and you're trying to figure out how are they going to score. They don't have any hitters, and they're looking for the walks. So now I got to factor walks into it. Really? So it's the guy hits 150 and gets 2 walks, so that's 2 hits. So really, he's a 220 hitter. I mean, it's getting to the point. It's ridiculous. And guess what? The teams who hit 150 do not win in any measure of that. So anyway, so those are the games for today. And again, I'm very interested in the Toronto game because they beat Verlander, and they look like a very strong play today with their strong pitcher going against a weak Houston pitcher. And anyway, so I look for Toronto to win because they beat Verlander. And I know psychologically that's huge. All right. Any questions, comments? www.teaserking.com. My Ottawa friends, please don't worry. I know we bought and then it went down a little bit, but again, this is not a stock and it's price fixed, but the price fixing is about to be over and the real value is going to hit. And if you kept your money in Canadian currency, you're going to lose it all anyway. Without doing anything, without even risking it, it's just going to lose value because it's a fiat currency. And that's really the other edge of the equation. Well, is gold going to go up or silver? Can I sell it? How do I hold it? Well, if you hold dollars in the bank, first of all, you're getting 0%. Secondly, look what Canada did with freezing bank accounts, trying to get your money out. You got 100 grand in. Good luck getting 100 grand out. You're going to get 10 grand at a time. That's why you can't leave a lot in. So if you're really rich, you're really screwed. You'll never get your money out. So you have those factors. If I leave it alone, it's a huge risk. I'd rather bet it on Toronto beating Houston. I have better chance of making money than leaving my money in the bank, getting no interest and getting inflated down to nothing. So my 100,000 in Canadian or US dollars is going to 0, and they're going to switch to a digital dollar, which you'll get pennies on the dollar for. $100 US dollars is going to buy maybe 30 digital dollars. It's not going to give 100 to 100. It's not going to be, here's the 100. It's going to be, well, no, we got to charge a little. Maybe they do it for 50 so they don't look like total idiots. But that's what's going to happen. But if you're in gold and silver, and then don't think because it's in the digital currency that the value of the gold and silver is going to go down. No, it's still fiat currency. It's still, the gold and silver will still be, so if it's 40,000 for gold and we switch to a digital currency, it's still going to be 40,000. It's whatever's driving gold is still going to drive gold. It's not like, we got a new currency. So now it might get priced differently in the new currency, but it's still worth whatever it buys. And if it buys a Mercedes, if it buys a $50,000 Mercedes with an ounce of gold, it's still going to buy the $50,000 Mercedes with the ounce of gold. That won't change, even though it switches, like, currency switch. That doesn't matter. So please be careful. You're risking with leaving it in the bank. You're in a risk. If you're in bonds, you're getting killed. If you're in the stock market, it's in a huge bubble. What does a bubble mean? A bubble means prices are not what they should be. So a $100 stock in, let's say, iPhone, Apple. So let's say you got a $100 stock. The bubble means it's at 200. Well, it's only a $100 stock. Why is it at 200? Well, it's being bought up, but it's not with it. So a stock that should be 100 is 200. A house that should be 100, those are what bubbles are. Money's been put in without market. And like with the steaks, right? The market says you can sell a New York strip for $15 a pound. You try to sell it at 30. Theoretically, that's a bubble. The market says, no, I'm not going to pay it. The market price is $15. That's what it should be. A bubble is you're selling a steak the price is $40, but the market doesn't want to buy it. So when the houses go up and BlackRock wants to buy it, BlackRock is not the market. When the stocks go through the roof because the Fed prints, and all of a sudden Apple should be at 150s at 500, that's a bubble. That's not the market. The market is the market. It's me and you. And when the price is not what the market dictates, what the supply and demand dictates, should be even. So if the Fed prints money and raises the price up here, but the market's still here, that's a bubble. And then it's not supposed to be here. So then the bubble bursts down to market. That's what a bubble is. That's why stocks are going to drop. That's why houses are going to drop. My friend in Alabama's got she said, I paid $150 for the house. It's worth $300. I go, sell it. It's not, you'll never get it's not worth $300. It shouldn't have gone up $150, but people are buying it. Now it went up. If the market goes up to 3 and the market's at 3, then it's not a bubble and then he's fine. But if it's 3 and the market's 150 and I can't afford the 3, but they raise the price, that's a bubble. That's the difference. And a lot of the stuff here is in bubbles. And therefore you have to watch. They're going to burst. And when they burst, that's what happened in 1929. Stock markets kept going up, but the demand was here. Then they pushed the price up because they printed money. And anytime you print money, you screw everybody up. So it went up to $300 and 1929. That's a lot of money. But the market was down here. So that's why when it started falling, that's why it fell. Nobody's here to catch it because they're all down here going, well, here's the market and here's where it is. And then, margin call. But the market's down at 100 and it's at 300. So you have all this falling because it's not market. And then it finally hits the market. And I think the market was at like 40 and then went back to 100 and then it went down to 29. And then everybody thought it's cheap and the market was at 100. So it went from 29 up to 100. Supply must equal demand. The market must be the price must hit the market. If a demand for this polo shirt is $40 and Polo wants to sell it for $100, it ain't going to happen. If Polo's costs go up because of inflation and they want to sell it here at $100, it ain't going to happen. People's are in the market at $40. Now, what they're doing is they're trying to make people stupid. They're not educating the people to understand markets and economics and inflation. And people just sit there with their head in the sand and go, oh, the stocks will drop, they'll come back up. I remember talking to a few people. Well, I'm young, Howard, and I'm going to, the stock will go down, but it'll come back up. And I'm like, no, it won't. No, it's going down. It's not coming right back up because where it's at now at 33, 34,000, the Dow is not real. The market's probably 20. So when it goes from 30 to 20, then when it starts being bought is the market. And right now it's not at the market. So I got to be careful. I just bought Newmont Mining because it fell 9 points. And when it jumps up is when I got to get out because I'm a little bit afraid right now because I just saw the market tank, 900 points yesterday. So this is what I'm worried about. So this is why I'm in and out very quickly because I'd rather have the cash than worry about the market. So I get in and get out. Now is not the time to try to make a lot of money in the market. Now is the time to be safe. Get in quickly, get out quickly, and put your stop losses in because you can wake up down 10 points. You're screwed. Now what do you do? I mean, really all you can do is sell, but that's why you don't even get in the market because you don't know when the shit's hitting the fan. And then if it, and it hits the fan when you're sleeping, right? If you notice, you wake up, you're down 5 points. How did that happen? Why couldn't I sell? It's not normal business hours. It's not like walking into a store and there's the shirt's $30 and now the shirt's $80 and you go, well, I just won't buy it. But you can't with stocks. It's a crooked game. I mean, it's more fixed than Comex and it's more fixed than an Alabama football game. So you've got to be careful with that. You've got to watch that stuff and be careful. So that's what's happening. So get in and out of the market and as quickly as you can, take some profit. Usually try to buy 600-700 shares, whatever you're buying. It goes up $1, you get the hell out and watch the algorithms. As the algorithms are going down, there's a point when the algorithm starts going sideways and starts going up. When it starts going up, just let it go a little bit more. Then you get in. The algorithm will take it up here. Then you got to get out because then the algorithm starts like this and it starts going back down. And you don't want to be on that elevator because it's gonna drop and then it'll go sideways. So if you look at gold stock, look at Newmont Mining and look at WPM Friday. What happened? It starts about 9:30. It does this. It goes way down at 10 o'clock on both stocks and gold. And then about 10:30, guess what happens? It goes up on both stocks. And then it went back up and then it went sideways the rest of the day. On both stocks, they had the same pattern. And gold, it has the same pattern. It's all fucked. But that's why if you're going to buy Newmont on Monday, wait for this 10 o'clock drop. Now, it happens 99 times out of 100. Occasionally, it'll do this. It'll go up and it'll just stay up and it goes up. Occasionally. Most of the time, it's the drop and that's the COMEX bullshit. And then it all of a sudden the algorithm says, okay, because it's China and Russia buying, what they're doing is lowering the price and letting them buy, and then it goes back, and then the market takes over, and then it goes up. And that's what you've got to understand. So you can't so you almost want to sell by 4 o'clock Eastern time, and then you want to buy at 10:30. You almost want to see that drop, and then, okay, as it starts going up, don't buy it on the drop. Wait till it starts going up, then you buy it. It's the only way. And then you want to get out by 4:30 or by 4 o'clock. It's very, very fixed and very, very difficult. But that's all you can do. It's the only way to play the market is in and out. These people that think you can play long term, unless it's Amazon or Google or something that's fixed, it doesn't work like that. And most of the stocks are down. Don't look at the big number. Look at your stocks, and most of them are down. So please be careful with stocks. I'd much rather see you in gold and silver. Gold and silver will not let you know. Where's silver going, right? Silver's at 25. It ain't going to 5. It ain't going out. They need it. It's money, and it's used in a lot of items. So it's not going down. And gold, we know, is not going down. Not with heavy inflation. So the value of the dollar, which is buying gold, is going down. Gold has to go up. It has to. And then you've got everything else. And, this war is great for gold. So gold's being held down. But, China's got 25,000. Russia's got 13,000. There's going to be a point where there's no more to buy. I mean, I know they have mines, and I know Russia and China have gold mines, and they just are taking it out of the gold and throwing it into their vault. So they're not even selling it. So that helps too. Your Bitcoins, I don't know. I don't know what the hell they are. I don't know where they're getting value. I do know the concept is I don't want to be in the US dollar. So that tells you something right there, that the Bitcoin's created to get out of the fiat US dollar. But guess what? There won't be a US dollar. So I don't know what's going to happen to Bitcoin. But Bitcoin is not gold. It is not, the dollar goes out, Bitcoin goes out. No, gold goes up, silver goes up. Bitcoin, we don't know what it does. It's not physical. We don't know what it is. 21 million, like I said, is not limited. Go buy a Mickey Mantle card. That is limited to maybe 100 because there's very few mint Mickey Mantle cards in the 50s. If you can find one, you're a lucky guy and you're rich. So keep that in mind. If the goal is to buy that because it's limited, you can buy a baseball card. And if you think the problem with it is I went to the barbecue place and I paid the guy in a silver dollar, which has got roughly a $25, $30 value. You can't do it with Bitcoin unless he deals in Bitcoin. You can't say, here's a Bitcoin for that, or here's $30 of a Bitcoin. You can't do that because what if he doesn't have Bitcoin? How do you get in the Bitcoin? What's the value of the Bitcoin? But you can do it with gold and silver. And that was the point I was trying to make there. Anyway, I think that's about it. It's a Saturday. It's a beautiful day. And I'm going to go out and I got a steak to cook. And then I'm going swimming and watch some baseball, I guess, although it's so boring. It's hard to watch. A little bit. It's all I can take. I can't watch 150 average hitters go up to the plate and take 15 pitches to get a walk. It's too boring. You know, they try to speed up how many times the manager can go out to the mound and how many pitching changes. Like, that's not the problem. The problem is these guys, they should make it 2 foul balls and you're that's a strikeout or something like that. If that's what they're going to do. Anyway, anybody sending money to the Ukraine, you can't use MoneyGram or Western Union. Anybody sending money to Russia, you can't use anything to send it to them. Keep that in mind. There is something called RIA. It's sort of like a PayPal or something, and it does work in the Ukraine. So if you are trying to send to family or friends in the Ukraine and you tried with MoneyGram because PayPal didn't work and MoneyGram they weren't able to get it, try this RIA. It did work. And, so at least we have that. But terrible thing. I hope this war ends, but I'm understanding Putin wants more than just the Ukraine. Belarus is with just a Russian puppet guy who's in charge, is a Russian guy. So be very careful. There's something really funny going on. Russia and China, and Biden's sitting there, a clear puppet. He doesn't know what day it is. He's a clear puppet to China, very obvious. So keep that in mind. You've got to be very careful. I don't know what's coming, but I know gold and silver is going to protect you, and your Mantle and Jordan and Brady cards will protect you. At least it's an asset, right? You've got to have assets. You can't have paper is not an asset. A dollar is not a dollar. If you watch the movie Margin Call, and at the end, Jeremy Irons is saying, "Oh, it's happened. It's just paper with faces on it, and so we can eat." And it's exactly what it is. But if you keep printing it, and there's too many of them, they don't have value. And the thing is, there are some countries that have $50,000 bills. When you see the U.S. start coming out with $200 or $500 bills, like the euro, I know my money heist. Nairobi starts printing $500 euros. When you start seeing that, that's the end, because they're not going to have value. Just be careful out there. The more gold and silver you can buy it and get your money out of the bank before you can't get it out of the bank. There will be bank runs, and there will be banks that freeze your assets because they need the money, and the government's going broke. They're going to cry. So just be very careful with what's going on. Be very quiet. Be very patient. Gold and silver will go through the roof. It's a lock from the Teaserking, and I would not steer you wrong. Right now it's price fixed, but that's ending soon. Now, we don't know the day. We can't say it's going to end Monday, but it will be ending, because they're going to want, the Russians and the Chinese are going to want gold to go up because they've got enough. Now it's like, now let's let it go up. And something just seems weird about, they got so much gold, and then all of a sudden they're going to turn and say, okay, let's raise it. And then they're going to screw everybody because they got all the money, and they're going to tell us what to do. And that's what I'm worried about. That's another show for another story. All right. Good luck on the baseball. Good luck. Go buy gold and silver today. Be a good boy. And bye. And have a nice weekend, my Ottawa friends, and Nick, and everybody else that I see here and I help. And I hope I make you money with these baseball picks. San Francisco lock, the Vikings over 8. The Vikings under 8.5. I'm sorry. That's the other lock. And probably Toronto, not a lock, but probably a real good play. All right, everybody. Have a nice day. Teaserking, Professor, signing off. www.teaserking.com. Come there. Please, my email is there. Please email me for anything. And I will be happy to answer questions or do a show on it, as I do for Nick a lot, where he asks me some interesting questions, and then I say, it's easier just to tell you on it here, Nick. So have a nice weekend, everybody. Take care. Thank you.